And we've all heard that noise before. There you go. Steven Vallejo, the money man, with all the successful knowledge, books, and the trophies in the background. Tell me, bro, introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Steven Vallejo. I am a VA mortgage advisor with Patriot Pacific. We are located in Temecula, California, and we are licensed in about 13 to 16 states. Okay, and what we do is we travel the United States and we educate veterans, active service military men and women, as well as realtors on their VA home loan benefits. And, my job is to ethically help people make decisions that are truly good for them. So basically what we're looking for is just anybody that is unaware of the VA home loan. We have 3 out of 10 veterans that understands the VA loan. We'll probably have about maybe 2 out of 10 veterans that owns a home.
2 out of 10 own a home, veterans?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So like, how did you, when did you discover this was a problem?
Well, I mean, working in corporate 25 out of the 26 years I've been in business, it wasn't until I went to a seminar with the broker that I'm working for now, and that's where the statistics came out. And actually, another heartbreaking story is about the 90-year-old veteran that they closed a loan for. So they had got a 90-year-old veteran into his home, 0% down, of course, no mortgage insurance, salary paid for, I think most or all of the closing costs, closed that loan in about 20, 25 days. And he survived another 3 years and left the home to his family. But when my colleague had asked him, well, why did you wait till you're 90 years old? He said, I didn't know about these benefits. I didn't know I could buy a home with literally nothing out of my pocket, or very little if I had to come up with closing costs. So, there's also a 23-year-old active service military personnel that was educated on his VA home loan benefits, took advantage of them, purchased his first home, and now he's building wealth through real estate using his VA home loan benefits.
Dude, that's the one because I remember you telling me the 90-year-old real estate veteran. I'm like, God, that's insane. Do you remember how you ended up meeting that person, or how you ended up finding them in the first place? Was it like a cold call? Did you door knock them? Did you meet them in person? Like how did you end up finding them? Remember?
That wasn't my client. That was my broker's client.
That's crazy though, but to hear that, and it's like 90 years, you go through that long and you don't know. So he was renting for that long.
Well, you know what it is? It's just that it's education. When we're dealing with veterans, we go educate. And if they want to move forward from that point on, that's fine. We just don't want another veteran going 90 years old without knowing these wonderful benefits. So if you're educated on it and you don't buy a home in your lifetime, well, that's going to be on you, because once you go through the process of a VA home loan, you'll be surprised at what's available for you, because there's no mortgage insurance. There's a lot of misinformation and absence of information that goes along with these VA loans. There's a lot of hearsay, and I'm here to clear that up. And I'm hoping one tidbit of information or one tidbit of knowledge will help change somebody's life.
What would you say would be like the top rebuttals you get, like top 3 or top 5 rebuttals you get that are like, oh man, I'm about to share some gems that's going to change this person's mind?
You know what is interest rate or prices are high. So you know what, go through the process, because without having that mortgage insurance, that's anywhere between $100 to $300-400 in some cases. With the rates being about 0.5% to 1% lower than conventional rates, and I just tell them, go through the process. Okay. Now the veterans have a wonderful benefit that's called the VA EARL. That's India Romeo 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 Lima, and it stands for Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan. So if I have a client right now that's saying, oh, you know what, I want to wait for the rates, and say, you know what, let's get in right now Even though the rates are unfavorable right now, all we have to do is get into the property, less competition right now, better chance of getting your offer accepted. And in 210 days after you make your first payment, as long as you've made your payments on time, and as long as you could recoup your closing costs within 36 months, the VA will step in and allow you to streamline your loan with no out-of-pocket expense, no appraisal needed, and no income documentation required. Again, the only two requirements is that they've made their payments on time for the last 6 months and that they recoup their closing costs within 36 months. We can't add thousands of dollars on the back of the loan. If it's a dollar over that 36 months, it's a hard no. So that means it's just a good loan for them. Basically, the new loan has to be better than the old loan.
How would you handle, Steven, situations where like a borrower has like low credit score or like limited savings? Because sometimes we run into a VA where they might have that question like, oh, my credit's not good, I don't have much savings, it's just me. And like you said, like home prices are high, interest rates are high. How would you handle that situation? And what would be like your first step? I know there's like a whole, like, you look at it like a scientist, like you see everything, the whole picture, but if you had to like explain it simply, like how would you do it?
That's a pretty simple objection to overcome, because with the VA, they have very flexible guidelines. Okay. So remember, the VA does not lend, they insure. Okay.
Okay.
So they write the guidelines for it. So their guidelines is you can have, under 580, maybe a 520 or maybe even a 500, and the VA will do the loan. We just got to find a lender that would lend out on that. And it's got to be a lot of compensating factors in order for that to happen. So, and also with the back end, with your DTI, if you're at a conventional or FHA, you're probably stuck at about with a 580 credit score and 55% back end DTI. I just submitted a purchase with a 65% back end.
A debt to income ratio, right? So DTI would be, for people who don't know, debt to income ratio.
Yeah, money coming in versus the money going out. So VA is a little bit more flexible. So it's kind of hard not to qualify for a VA loan. They do everything that they can to get you into that home, and they do everything they can to keep that home. So if you fall into hard times, the VA will come in with loan modifications. They'll come in with, extended, forbearances, extend the term of the loan to help you keep that home. So strong buyer protection.
Strong buyer protection. And I guess another question would be like, how do you communicate to the VA officer during the whole process of buying a home? Sometimes it's a new step for them, and they're like, shoot, this is like $500,000, $500,000 property I'm looking into. Like, how would you hold their hand throughout the whole process?
Well, you know what I tell, whether it be a VA or anybody else, fall in love with the monthly payment before you fall in love with a home. But we go through everything with them. It just goes back to date the rate, marry the home, divorce your landlord.
Divorce your landlord, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. That's cool, man. Well, how did you get started? Like, because it's been, you said what, 25 years?
Yeah, 25 years. I started a company called Transamerica, and from there, went to Countrywide and worked at various mortgage companies. But the reason why I choose VA is because, like Bruce Lee said, I'm not afraid of the guy that practices 1,000 different punches, but I'm scared of the guy that practices one punch 1,000 times. So my one punch is VA loans. So I can't sell anything I don't believe in. I'm very good at what I do. People tell me you can sell anything, Steven, but absolutely not true, because I cannot sell anything I don't believe in. So next to the reverse mortgage, the VA loans is hands down one of the best loan programs there.
How has it changed from when you first started and now? Like, I'm wondering how loans were back then.
Man, it's just a lot more streamlined now. It's a lot easier now, from having to go and sit down with your customer, signing all about we called them jiffies back in the days, good faith estimates, and it's streamlined now. you know, and the VA, we can close the loans a lot quicker because, you know, their loans are streamlined. It's pretty simple.
That's good. And like, how would you offer support to someone who, after they close a loan with you, like how do you offer support and resources after the loan closes and, you know, they buy their first home and they're like,
very good question.
they're like, fuck yeah, like I got my house now. I got Steven, my VA loan officer for life now, for eternity. Like now the question's like, now what? Now I've reached the finish line.
Yeah, very, very good question. So what I tell my clients, and you know, the last 2 years it's been a little rough out there sales wise because no one's buying, no one's selling, no one's refinancing. But I have a book of business that goes back, you know, 16, 17 years. So when I'm dealing with a client, anybody that I get either even now or in the past, I let them know that I have I want a long-lasting business relationship with you. I don't want to do business with you and never call you back again. You know, with your permission, I like to keep in touch with you to keep that relationship. Not only to ask you for referrals, but I'm going to put you on my loyalty program. Okay. So the loyalty program is what I'm going to do for the client is I'm going to keep in touch with them. I'll send them free home value estimator so they have an idea of where they're at equity wise. I'll put them on a rate watch. So anytime the rate drops more than 0.5%, pop up, I'll give them a call. Because I'm intimate with their finances, I'll have all the information. And next time around, because they've been loyal to me, there's going to be discounts that they can get with me that they can't get anywhere else. So long-lasting business relationships. And I do the same thing with the realtors that I deal with as well. So as far as me and you, we get a transaction going. You're going to be contacted Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with an update on how the process is going. Okay, so not only is the client getting a update on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes it's nothing. It's you know, it's Friday. Hey, happy Friday. No action needed at this time. Next update will be on Monday. The reason why I get them on Monday is because people have barbecues. Hey, what are you doing? I'm refinancing. Well, what's your rate? It's this. Okay, well, you know, I got this. And then all of a sudden they call me and they're like, hey, well, my client got this, and we end it right there. Well, your client got that rate back when the rates were down. This is where you're at right now. So that way we just—
That's when their mind is like amplified in loans and real estate during that period.
Make sure that if there's any you know, other people whispering in their ears about, you know, a better deal or a better— I don't like using the word deal— transaction. We just want to nip it in the bud right then there. And then it's just communication. You know, I mean, you as a real estate agent, the worst thing is to get a loan officer that's not communicating with you if there's a problem. So when we see a problem, it starts off as a kitten, okay? And the longer you let that kitten go and you don't communicate, that kitten gets bigger and it turns into a lion. Before you know it, you got this big lion of fear. And
God damn.
but if you keep that a kitten, you handle it right away. You either solve the problem and continue, or hey man, I can't do this deal, and you move on. And I think people appreciate communication.
Dude, you summarized that like gorgeously. And for realtors that you work with, what would you tell them? Like, because we're working with one right now that I got through a wrong number. And I could say it's thanks because of the notes that you gave me in terms of like the highlights of VA loans. And keep in mind, I'm obviously not a loan officer, but me just reading that gave him enough interest to talk. And now he's in the process of getting what's it called?
His VA disability.
Yeah, his VA.
We have resources, but when it comes to VA, you know,
like what would be like a short highlight that you could share with a realtor or with just someone in general, like highlights, that way they can write it down and they can give you a call and they can have that same thing.
Oh, let's go over that. So we got the obvious, 0% down. So the VA, there's 0% down with that, so it saves the veteran thousands of dollars. There's competitive interest rates. Okay, the rates are going to be lower than what you're going to get with a conventional, real kind of close to FHA. But the kicker is there's no mortgage insurance. With FHA, you're going to have the mortgage insurance. If you're putting less than 20% down, you're going to have the mortgage insurance. So if I stop at those three benefits right there, you're winning. Okay. I mean, that's where I tell veterans, go through the process. You'd be surprised at what's available for you. Limited closing costs. There's not many loan officers that know how to do VA loans. There's not really too much money to be made on VA loans. So you'll get a lot of loan officers that will think with their wallet rather than their heart and do the right thing and put a veteran on an FHA loan when they deserve these awesome benefits here. So,
Oh, I had no idea. So they'll put them on a FHA instead of a VA. That's a thing.
well, it's very important that because I have a lot of different agents that I deal with. Okay, and I do all loans. I do them all. Okay,
Yeah.
but when it comes to VA, you want to make sure that you align a veteran or active service military member with someone like myself. Okay, because we have a lot of veterans that have PTSD. They have a very short patient span, type A personality. What's my rate? How much is it going to cost? And you got to be able to do it right then and there, because the worst experience is getting someone that's got PTSD and setting them up with someone that doesn't know what they're doing. That could be a very, very bad experience. So dealing with someone like myself, I know exactly how to handle this client right here. Okay. Another benefit that you're going to have, again, is going to be your flexible guidelines. We can do credit scores as low as 500. Again, VA writes those guidelines. We just got to find the lender for that, and there's got to be compensating factors. And even if you have a credit score under 500, then we got CalVet. Okay, so
there you go.
Not to get a VA loan, as long as it makes sense. You got also the back end DTI, which we went over. A lot of the times, you can use your overtime less than 2 years with VA. Okay, if you're dealing with an FHA or conventional, you have to have 2 years of overtime or even a second job. So VA will allow you to do a second job less than 2 years. These VA loans are assumable. Okay, so if we get, say, that gentleman Aaron, and
Yeah.
sees a home that's owned by a veteran, and that veteran has a 2.25% interest rate, then he can, veteran to veteran, take over that loan, as long as he comes up with a difference between what he owes and what the house is worth, or what they're selling the house for. So VA loans are assumable. Fast
There's
closing.
a lot of ways to matrix the deal.
Right. Yeah. What else do we have?
The transaction.
We got your cash out refi benefit. Okay, so if you're a civilian and you want to put some cash out, you're pretty much capped out at 80%. Okay, of what your property's worth. You go over that 80%, now there goes that PMI. Okay, with VA you can go up to 80%, 85%, no PMI, 90%, no PMI, 95%. In some cases,
private mortgage insurance, PMI.
Right.
Yeah.
And in some cases, 100% of your property's value with no mortgage insurance.
And for people who don't know, Steve, what the heck is a private mortgage insurance? Like, what is that?
That's basic.
What's so private about it? You hear the word, right? What's so private? Why isn't it public? Why is it?
If you're less than 20% down, then the lenders have insurance that they're going to get paid most of their money back. So that's what that insurance doesn't really do anything for the client. But VA doesn't allow that. And that's what's really good. Like I say, if I stop at those three benefits, you're winning.
It's less cost. It's cheaper.
Yeah. So my favorite benefit is going to be your VA EARL, okay, which is the interest rate reduction refinance loan. So that's a lifetime benefit. It never, ever goes away. It's available every 210 days only. If there's a more advancing or a more valuable loan for you, then the VA will step in and allow them to streamline their loan with no out-of-pocket expense, no appraisal needed, and no income documentation required. So if we get them at a 6% right now, the rates drop down to 5.5%, 5.25%, then we can go ahead and do that VA EARL for them. And in another 210 days, if the rate drops even more, where they could recoup their closing costs, the VA will do it again till it runs out. Now,
wow, the VA EARL, that's what it's called?
A VA EARL. And
that's good.
is there's no penalty on it. So if they wanted to make the same payment that they're paying at 6% at the new lower interest rate, now instead of taking them back to a 30-year loan, we're shortening the term and saving thousands of dollars on interest.
VA EARL, and how long have you been? How many times would you say you've exercised that? Because loans can, or sometimes a transaction can last 30 to 60 days. So when you're giving that time frame, it's like, oh wow, it's like it sounds pretty flexible.
Well, right now, a lot of veterans that bought with the interest rate anywhere over, I think 6.5, 6.75, we're able to do VA EARLs right now. I got to check where we're at right now. But as soon as these interest rates drop, there's going to be a plethora of VA EARLs that are coming in. So back in 2020, when the rates were down at 2.25, was doing 35, 40 loans a month. As you know, these are my
successful trophies.
Yeah, this month right here we did 24. Okay,
there you go.
I got one here for 37 loans during that time. So those VA EARLs, they're really good because not only do they get a lower rate, they have one guaranteed mortgage payment they get to keep and enjoy. Okay, so if their payment's $2,000, they get to keep that, whatever, and then plus whatever comes back of their escrow refund. So it's kind of like a really good reset for them. They get a lower rate, lower payment, one mortgage payment they get to keep and enjoy. It's not like they're not paying it. You'll see it in the payoff, but they just physically don't have to come out of their pocket with it because they get to keep that, and then whatever their escrow refund comes back to them as well.
That's really excellent. You see, this is why I like talking to you, because you just know so much about it, like the VA EARL. And you said it's every how much? 220 days, or am I off?
10 days only if there's a benefit.
220 days only if there's a benefit.
210, 210.
Okay.
6-7 months.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's
so I have
really good.
A veteran right now that we closed with, I believe someone in your office out in Moreno Valley. Their first payment was in March, so April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. November's their last payment, and they're at a 6 3/4. We got them back then. Now we're just waiting for the 10-year bond to drop so we can do the VA EARL.
Yeah, that's perfect, because there's always a way when the rates drop. So it's like you can lock in a good price now, and then with that VA EARL, you can just so it's almost like you can't wait for that. So you have like that extra card to dice in there.
And the beauty of this is the documentation. There's no income documentation. All I need is maybe 4 or 5 items, which is the driver's license, mortgage statement, homeowner's insurance, DD 214 if they're out, and note from the first mortgage. Those 5 items, as long as my benefits there, I submit, close that loan in 7 to 10 business days. So I always tell them it's not like the purchase where we had to come up with all this. The verification is just really, really simple. And again, VA doesn't care about the value, because we know they're making their payment at $2,500. We lower it down to $2,300. It's going to be even better for them.
So we covered a lot here. We covered the highlights of the VA loans, how much protection you have in the event they can't pay it. Believe you also shared how they're not giving you the loans. You said that they're insuring you the loan. I think that's what you said too earlier.
The VA, they don't lend, they insure.
Yes, they don't lend and they insure.
Yeah.
So in the worst case scenario, like we've gone over like the highlights, but there's always that one extra question someone has, like, okay, but some people always naturally gravitate to the negative. But of course, you have the answer to everything, because you're fantastic like that. So in the very rare event, small percent, because even foreclosures now are lower than they've ever been compared to 2006 and 2008, and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
In the event they are in distress and they can't pay, how exactly does that process go?
Okay, so before I get into that, one huge benefit here is everything that I've gone with you today
is a huge plus. Yes. Cannot forget that.
That's the education that we need to get out to the veterans. Okay. And
Yes.
really well. But everything that I went through with you today, you also have the surviving spouse benefits. Okay.
Yes.
So if the husband happens to perish before the spouse has all these benefits. My broker had just closed the transaction, and they were taking the application, and she was a widow. So the question came is, have you ever served in the military? And she said, no, but my husband has. Now keep in mind, she was going to bring in $40,000 for down payment and closing costs. So when they looked up his eligibility, she happened to qualify for his VA benefits, which saved her half of that money. So instead of coming down with a down payment, she got to keep that money. Her payment was lower because the interest rate was lower. The payment was lower because there's no PMI, and she just had to come up with the closing costs.
Dude, that's brilliant. And how many people know about that? What you just shared, the surviving spouse benefits. Like, if you had to give like a percentage.
Well,
Nobody.
I would say less than the 3% that know about the VA loan, because I mean, it's all available there, but we just need to reach out to the veterans, and even if me and you do a home buyer seminar and one veteran shows up, that's worth it for me, because that's one less veteran that we have to educate.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But the more we can get out there, it's fine. And what I would like to do with your office, if you can talk to JJ, is it JJ?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we would like to do is I would like to have my broker go out there and see if he can just educate. I know you guys got your lenders, you got Fu and all the other people that you have there. But again, when it comes to VA, you want to make sure you set up a veteran.
Oh, dude, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So what he would do is he'd come in, and it'd be like a lunch and learn. We'd supply lunch, and we would actually
and I know how many buyer seminars you do? I know you're doing them with several agents from the office. You do them like at least once a month, or I've on your Instagram, and you're always doing these events. What would be the best way to reach you, and contact you or attend one of those seminars?
You know what? You can reach me on Instagram at luxury_home_loans SRV on Instagram. And this past Sunday, me and one of the agents that works at your office, we did the Marine Corps birthday at Bastards on Sunday. And we sat there and educated, and we got 10 to 15 solid conversations, contacts. As a matter of fact, we've already had one veteran fill out our application. He's going through the pre-approval process. So what I like to do is I like to go and, any of the agents that want to go out there, I got my pop-up tent, I got my tablecloth. We can do, farmers markets or anything, fairs or anything like that. I love getting out there and meeting people and shaking hands.
That's dope, man. And what would be the best your Instagram handle and your phone number for them to get blessed with all this knowledge?
Yeah, my name is Steven Vallejo. My company is Patriot Pacific. Again, we're located in Temecula, California. Phone number is 626-642-6417.
Awesome, bro. Any other closing thoughts or anything out of a bunch of gold mines that you gave past 20 minutes?
You know what? There's a lot of things that I do to be successful, and but read a lot of books. I do a lot of personal development, but you know what? I just have a really close relationship with Jesus Christ, and that has a lot to do with my success. And just being in a good mood, giving good energy, and just being happy, being around people that are more successful than me, and learning and listening, because the conversations are different, the energy is different, the frequency is different.
Amen to that, bro. 100%. Well, I guess we'll close it out here, and Jesus is Lord 100%, bro. I'm with you with that. So we'll end it with that. Super solid, man.
All right, man. Thank you so much for your time, man. And let's get together soon.
For sure, bro.
All right.
I'm gonna end the recording.
Okay.